a place with many names that has hosted many of old racing's greats over decades of competition on these aged banks in this egg-shaped oval. Over 60 years of racing history have taken place here in the upstate of South Carolina, and tonight we add another chapter to this facility's illustrious history. Welcome to the Lady in Black, the track they call Too Tough to Tame, where tonight it's Challenger Cup Series action from Darlington Raceway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into PGR eSports coverage of the Challenger Cup Series on a Tuesday night. This is round 6 of the 2026 campaign, coming to you live from upstate South Carolina here virtually on the iRacing service. My name is Dawson Wise. Happy to have you with me for a Challenger Cup Series Tuesday night. Unfortunate that I had to miss last week. Want to apologize for that in advance after coming away last week from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So a fun race last week that unfortunately I did have to miss last week from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But tonight we're back, and it's Darlington, and it is going to be a place where chaos reigns. In this series and in others that I've gotten to call, this place has been nothing short of chaotic. We've had battles for the win, we've had crashing, we've had plenty of Darlington stripes to go around. That and so much more is coming up tonight from Darlington. Again, thank you so much for coming out and joining us. It's just about time to get down trackside for action here at Darlington Raceway, and that will begin, of course, with the starting grid tonight from Darlington. On the pole, by virtue of his first place qualifying time, it is going to be the 30, running a bit of a throwback looking paint scheme tonight. That is Ryan Patty. He knows how to get it done on these kinds of ovals. A winner from Loudon, New Hampshire in his debut season last year. Looking to get the job done tonight from Darlington as well. To his outside in the black and camo 14 with yellow accents, that is going to be Cody Eldred on the outside of the front row. Really impressive qualifying effort for the Cody Eldred machine as he was able to put his car on the front row. Back on row number 2, and starting in the third position, it's going to be the 6th, the Sinclair Toyota Camry of Rusty Modesty, and in the fourth position, the Oscar Mayer Chevy. Another strong qualifying effort for James Catrone as he goes in position number 4. Back on row 3, it's going to be Matt Hayden, a very new look for him this week. HendrickCars.com aboard that race car for one of the first times that I can remember, and some rainbow flare for Matt Hayden tonight. Of course, those bright neon yellow numbers as well. To his outside, the Daytona winner is back. That's Clinton Woodby in the Pepsi Max Chevrolet Camaro. He'll go from position number 6. Back on row 4, it's Kevin Zabloodle making another start tonight. That car will be bright red with the yellow numbers on the side. And alongside him, a new look for David Schraler, our Atlanta winner. A black, white, and yellow paint scheme this week. It looks very different from the yellow and white you've gotten used to seeing and saw in Victory Lane a few weeks ago. He'll go from 8th. And in row number 5, rounding out the top 10, the Waterford Concept Chevrolet, the familiar black, white, green, and orange and yellow Chevrolet. That's Andrew Little. To his outside in 10th, it's Harold Rothery, the all-green number 1. Row 6, Steve Potter in the 94 in the Haviland Chevrolet will roll from alongside the High Rock Chevy of Brandon Beauchamp, both looking for good runs tonight in Darlington to kickstart their season. Jimmy Fitzmaurice goes from 13th tonight with Greg Bourbonier, the Miller Toyota, to his outside in the 14th spot. Back on row number 8, it'll be Ron Walters in the 99, the Whitewater Express Ford Mustang Dark Horse, and alongside him the Red Bull Chevy, that's Bill Gartner. And back on row 9, rounding out the field, Mike Martino, the third, will go from 17th position. It'll be Brian Cunningham, the Budweiser Chevy, outside of him in 18th. Darlington on tap. 40 laps is the stage distance. You may notice some new broadcast graphics on the left side of the screen. I finally got those squared away, so looking forward to getting to show those off over the course of the night. As we get going for Challenger Cup Series action from Darlington, you'll see it features the stage length. A cool new feature of this broadcasting software that we can use. Had some trouble in the back. Brandon Beauchamp's actually got damage on his car before we even take the green flag. I'm not sure what happened. If we get an opportunity, we'll go back and take a look. For now, unfortunate for Brandon Beauchamp that he will have some damage aboard the High Rock Chevy early in this race. A place called Too Tough to Tame. The Lady in Black plays host to the Challenger Cup Series tonight. It's round 6 of 2026. From Darlington Raceway, Ryan Patty brings the field into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing from Darlington. And as soon as we can get started, there's trouble in the back of the field as multiple cars have gone sideways. This is back around David Traylor. It looks like he spun the tires in that 54 machine. Harold Rothery got into him. Brandon Beauchamp, bad gone to worse for the High Rock Chevy as he's involved again. Greg Bourbonnier's going to get a piece of it there in the 00. Bill Gartner trying to get around it as well. This was, again, right on the start. In fact, that's Traylor crossing the line for the first time to begin lap 1. It's an unfortunate beginning to a couple of different evenings. You see right there, as he goes to get on the gas pedal, the rear tires just don't respond. They spin. They don't grab the racetrack. He goes for a spin. Rothery gets into him. Nowhere to go for Beauchamp or Bourbonnier, as both of them get collected in this as well. Bill Gartner jumps on the brakes. A couple of guys jump to the inside trying to get around this. One more look at it, then we'll go look at what happened to Brandon Beauchamp right off of the start. You'll see right here, again, those rear tires did not grip the racetrack, and it's a helpless feeling as a driver when you turn straight across the field, but unfortunately that's what happens to David Traylor right there. Rothery, Beauchamp, Bourbonnier all collected as all of those cars come into it. Again, a bad night gone worse already for Brandon Beauchamp, who couldn't even complete a lap, couldn't even complete 100 feet before getting some pretty severe damage on board the High Rock Chevrolet. Of course, the fast repairs available in the pits, so guys will be able to get their cars fixed, but not the start that several of these guys wanted. Let's go back and see what happened to Brandon Beauchamp. This was on the initial driving away on the pace lap. And he did the same thing, actually, that David Traylor did. Watch here, as he goes to get going, those rear tires spin, and he nosed it into the outside wall. So a pair of tire spins already in the opening, not even 100 feet of this race. David Traylor continues to sit on pit road with damage, as he may very well go a lap down here. We'll see, but goodness, already some chaos at Darlington, and we couldn't even get away with the green flag. The order has not changed very much. Still Ryan Patty, Rusty Modesty, Cody Eldred, Matt Hayden, and James Catrone, your top 5. Clinton Woodby, Andrew Little, Steve Potter, Harold Rothery, and Jimmy Fitzmaurice make up the top 10. Notably, Potter and Fitzmaurice, the only 2 drivers that have worked into the top 10 by virtue of that crash, happening right around the 10th position. So we'll try that again. These guys look to get into a bit of a rhythm. I have heard some talks about potentially the dynamic track on the iRacing service, which is something these guys know very well, is beginning to respond a lot better than it was before. So possible that rubber will get worked into the racetrack at some point during tonight's race as well, so keep an eye on that as a potential factor to watch out for in terms of grooves either getting too rubbered up, guys having to move around trying to find grip, or a very dominant line becoming apparent. It's just what I've heard so far this week after some updates to the service last week. Let's try this thing again. Patty and Modesty now bring the field into the restart zone. And let's give this another shot from Darlington. After the opening lap caution is cleaned up, green flag in the air. Let's go racing from Darlington. Ryan Patty leads the opening lap. Jimmy Fitzmaurice has had a problem towards the tail end of the field, and he has gone straight to pit road in the 33. So already big problems for a couple of cars. David Traylor is 1 lap down in 17th. Now Mike Martino has gone for a slide. That's on the back straightaway. as he has spun down to the inside. Chaos already at Darlington early, just 7 laps into this one. Only 140 laps tonight is the race distance. Patty trying to drive away, but he just earned himself a Darlington stripe. You're going to hear me use the term Darlington stripe tonight. Cody Eldred just got one right there. With the way that Darlington's walls used to be painted, you would see cars get red and white painted stripes on the side of their car like a scuff mark from the wall. And along the way, someone nicknamed it the Darlington stripe. There's a stripe right across your car. It showed that you got the wall at Darlington. So many drivers get one with the course of a Darlington race, with how tough and technical this course is, that it earned a nickname when you scuff the outside wall with the right side of your race car, a Darlington stripe. Hayden's got one already. Modesty's got one already. Patty's got one already. Several other cars as well have earned their Darlington stripes at this point in the race. So Ryan Patty continuing to lead the way. Battle is for the 4th spot. Clinton Woodby trying to get on the move, the Daytona winner. Bit of a points shakeup coming into tonight after what you were used to when we last saw you in Phoenix. Ryan Patty has maintained the points lead. Big slide. James Catrone. That's going to allow Woodby up underneath him. 2 wide in a tight area. Woodby goes by. Catrone gives up the spot. He's actually going to lose 5th to Andrew Little. May lose 6th to Cody Eldred as well down the front straightaway. We'll take it up front because the battle for the lead was starting to materialize. Now it is starting to fade away just a little bit. So let's go back here to the battle for the 6th spot for the time being. But yeah, Ryan Patty maintained the points lead after Las Vegas. Of course, he's got the 1 win so far on the season. That coming at the Phoenix Raceway 2 weeks ago. Matt Hayden is 2nd in the points. No wins yet for him, but 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s. That's what the doctor ordered. He's 31 points back of Ryan Patty. Battle for 4th just ahead of these guys. A little up around the outside. I've heard the outside lane over here in turns 3 and 4 going to be a little bit better than the inside lane. Rusty Modesty closing for the lead again. Was for a moment. We'll take it up there if in case that battle does materialize. Matt Hayden, by the way, is running both of those cars down. Matt Hayden was the fastest car in practice earlier, so no surprise to me the 5 has some serious race speed. Harold Watkins is 3rd in the points, although you may note that he is not here tonight, so he will lose some serious ground in the standings. He came into tonight 38 points back of Ryan Patty in 3rd. Of course, he also has the 1 win, that being at Coda. Oh, trouble! Woodby's around. Clinton Woodby nails the inside wall on the front end first. He has knocked the left front suspension, all kinds of out of whack on that 92, and he'll have to come down and address that damage. So Clinton Woodby, the Daytona winner, a setback for him early in this one from the Lady in Black. You saw it happen live on your screen. Battle was continuing here. It has faded just a little bit. Matt Hayden continues to run some of the best laps on track. In fact, last time was faster than the leaders. That time 3/10 faster than the leaders was Matt Hayden, so he is closing in. We'll keep an eye here. David Traylor 4th in the points after his Atlanta win. 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s to start his 2026. 39 points back of Ryan Patty, but of course the setback for him has him marred down in 15th position. Brandon Beauchamp's going to go a lap down to the leaders. Andrew Little 5th in the points, running 4th on the racetrack right now as he's gotten around a bunch of different cars early in this race. Came into tonight 48 points back of Ryan Patty. 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s for the driver of the Waterford Concept Chevrolet. Cody Eldred 6th in points. 52 points back. Clinton Woodby 7th, also had that setback. Rusty Modesty in line for a big points day for him so far. 8th in the standings, 2nd on the racetrack. Just 71 points back in the lead. And if he captures some stage points, could put a dent in the advantage that some guys have in front of him. Harold Rothery actually jumps to 9th in the points. He's 9th on the racetrack right now in a tie with Steve Potter, who runs 7th on the racetrack right now. Bill Gartner 11th in the points, runs in the 8th spot right now. Rest of the drivers as of now that would be in the chase: Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Brian, 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 of those cars that I just mentioned that is not here. Of course, the Harold Watkins machine, the only other chase car that is not in the field. Battle for second. Modesty trying to hold off Matt Hayden for the second spot. We'll keep it there for now as Hayden is trying to run down the leader. Patty's cut it down to about a second flat, or had, before he knocked the wall over there on the exit of turn number 2. But he is faster than both of these race cars on lap times. 29.90. Actually, Patty went faster the last time around the racetrack. Let's see what the case is here. 30.34 for Patty. 30.07 for Rusty Modesty. 30.26 for Matt Hayden. 30.10 for Andrew Little running fourth. Remember, Little won at Martinsville and Bristol last year. 30.16 for James Catrone. He's running faster than the leader as well. So a couple of cars closing in on Ryan Patty, your race leader, on lap 18, already about halfway through stage number 1, the only stage break of the night, coming up again at the conclusion of lap 40. It's all smooth sailing so far for Ryan Patty. We know how quickly that can change. Especially at a place like Darlington, you knock the wall down one time and all of a sudden your race is derailed. But Modesty is keeping it close. Matt Hayden is as well. Taking a look at some more lap times. Hayden faster that time as well, a 10th and a half faster than the leader. Fastest car on track was actually Clinton Woodby, but he is one lap down. 30.40 for Ryan Patty, 30.22 for Modesty, 30.19 for Hayden. Everybody from second to sixth faster than the leader back to Cody Eldred. They all ran 0.2 faster than Ryan Patty. Now, question is begged, is he saving? Or is he running at a long run pace? That remains to be seen. As these guys continue to run him down. Is Ryan Patty just saving his equipment for later in the run to end off the run? Or is he really losing out on some long run speed? Rusty Modesty drives right to the back bumper. And now puts some pressure on the back of the Ryan Patty machine for the race lead. Lost a little bit there on 1 and 2. They got pushed up the racetrack by that arrow just a little bit. That's where Matt Hayden has gotten stuck as well. And behind the Modesty machine is in that arrow wash, which is what we call that effect where the car gets tight. When you're in line behind another car, the air washes off the back of that car and upsets the air on the front end of your car and results in that tight sensation that you feel from middle to corner exit. So far, so good for Patty, but a challenge is still ongoing from Rusty Modesty and Matt Hayden, who tries to work himself into the battle. Modesty knocks the wall just a little bit there on the exit of turn number 2. No one else really running down Ryan Patty right now. The only faster lap last time by was Catrone with a 30.15. And, of course, Woodby. That time, Catrone faster again. Catrone, actually, Eldred runs the fastest lap, one of the fastest in this race trim with a 30.11. 18 laps to go, stage 1. As Ryan Patty continuing to lead the way for right now. But a couple of cars in line behind him. Again, we talked about at the top of the show, last season when we came to Darlington, it produced a late race battle. In every league I've gotten to call that comes to Darlington Raceway, we have seen some kind of battle on the last run for the race win. Keep that in mind as we get into the meat of tonight's race. Rusty Modesty, I think it keeps getting caught in that dirty air behind Ryan Patty. Oh, man, Matt Hayden, a big slide there off turn 4. Modesty faster that time. Andrew Little, 2.5 tenths faster at one point, now only about a tenth faster than the leader that time. Looking at some entry splits between the 30 and the 6, I am led to believe that Ryan Patty is saving equipment, but then he loses some time on exit over here on that other end of the racetrack, and I'm not so sure. But right here on entry, he loses quite a bit of time, actually gains a little bit on entry that time. I thought he overcooked it. He might have overcooked it. Well, Modesty pulled within 2.5 tenths. That's as close as he can get. Continues to be Ryan Patty leading the way. Now the lap times have evened out for the most part. Catrone, the only one a decent margin faster than the leader, to 30.21 to Patty's 0.29. At the line again, 14 to go in stage 1. Lap times even between the 3 leaders. Lap times even amongst the top 5 and top 6. Top 6 all ran within about a half a tenth of each other right there. Modesty leans to the inside. No dice. Matt Hayden actually losing a bit of speed here on the long run as it goes. See if he can pick that back up. 13 to go, stage 1. Patty continuing to lead the laps between them. That time, Modesty a tenth and a half quicker. Catrone 2/10 quicker. Kevin Zabluto picking up some late run speed as well. Already approaching 10 laps to go. This one's going to go by pretty quick, and only a 140 lap race distance is going to mean this race goes by in a bit of a hurry. Ryan Patty starting to drive away just a little bit. He's opened up about a 6-car length lead on Rusty Modesty all of a sudden again, which leads me back to believing that he might have been saving earlier in the run. Next time by, 10 laps to go. Modesty making another late charge here in the stage, trying to get back to Ryan Patty as Matt Hayden again taps the wall on the exit of turn number 2. Andrew Little's held pretty well even in his split. Same with James Catrone. Cody Eldred's not lost a ton. Ryan Patty looks very, very good right now, though. Although here we go again. Another late challenge from Modesty. Pulls within 0.2 of a second and about 3 car lengths. 10 laps to go, stage 1. Oh, good drive right there. Well, I thought it was going to be a good drive. Modesty not able to stick it, or is he? He is able to stick it that time. He's within 2 car lengths of the leader. You may have a run at him right here. 9 to go at the line. He's going to be within half a car length. Does he dive it to the inside? No. He'll back the corner up, stay behind Ryan Patty, play the smart game, but he go to Darlington stripe there as he bounces off the wall. Somehow manages to get some exit speed to keep close, but no cigar there for Modesty. Little and Catrone picking up in their deltas here late in the stage, coming back to 8 laps to go. Potentially another attempt here by Modesty. He's going to get close, but not close enough within a car length. Andrew Little's closed his delta up to 2 seconds. That's back from the 4th position. He ran a 10th and a half faster, 2.5 tenths faster rather. 10th and a half faster for Catrone and Matt Hayden. That's the 3rd and 5th place cars. This time driving in a little bit deeper is Rusty Modesty. He likes to fade that up to the outside. It's not paying a ton of dividend, but now this time it does. He gets a nice run. Up to the back bumper. Patty thought about a defensive line, but Modesty keeps it in line. Does not go for the race lead. Instead, opts to stay behind the Ryan Patty machine, and it's going to pay for it just a little bit as Patty drives back away just a tad. Little is within 1.8. I don't think he's going to have enough laps to get there. He'll have to gain somewhere in the realm of about 14 to 15 100ths of a second every time. He's not gaining that currently. Or is he? It's actually going to be really close. Leader's even. A 10th better for Little. That's not quite enough to get him there. Tenth and a half better for Eldred, who runs still in the 6th position. Oh, man, Modesty knocks the wall down in turns 3 and 4, and that will be all she wrote likely for the stage as Patty has started to drive away. Matt Hayden has been fighting loose on that car since the green flag dropped. He has faded out of this battle also into the clutches of Andrew Little. Continue to run under green inside of 5 laps to go in stage 1. If you're just joining us, an early caution, not even 100 feet after the start-finish line, is David Traylor, Brandon Beauchamp, Greg Bourbonier, and Harold Rodri got collected in an opening lap skirmish after a tire spin incident. Of course, Brandon Beauchamp had the incident on the gridding lap. Since then, we have been clean and green, and it's been all the Kellogg Chevrolet. Ryan Patty fought off a mid-stage attempt from both Modesty and Hayden. And actually, let's go back here to Matt Hayden, because he could be in line to have another challenge here at the end of stage number 1 from the 68 of Andrew Little. The list closing in, trying to make good on battling Hayden for the 3rd position and an extra stage point. Remember, top 5 get stage points, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The point totals given in order. Patty set for not only a payday in the points, but also to extend his points lead even more than it already was coming into tonight. Of course, that points lead was 31 points coming into tonight. Over the Matt Hayden car, it's likely that Patty grows that if this result sticks. Last lap, stage 1 at Darlington. We're watching the battle for the 3rd spot. See if it materializes. Doesn't look like it's going to. About what we expected from the driver of the 30. Shows up in a Kellogg's paint scheme to throw it back, and throws it back to last year in the form of the dominance that we saw. He'll come to the line, come by the start-finish line. Stage 1 complete. Stage winner is Ryan Patty over Rusty Modesty, Matt Hayden, Andrew Little, and James Catrone. The caution set to come out momentarily, although we are still under the green flag, so we'll keep it here for now at 41 going on the board. Now the caution's out, and that will complete stage 1. Ryan Patty wins the opening stage, captures some points that will help him extend his points lead as he continues to lead the way at Darlington. The conclusion coming up after this from the Lady in Black. Stay with us on PGR eSports. You won't want to miss a thing. We'll be right back for stage 2, the completion of Challenger Cup Series action from Darlington Raceway. Welcome back to Darlington. Lights out atop the pace car. That means it's time to go green for stage 2. Ryan Patty maintains the lead on and off pit road. Rusty Modesty second. Matt Hayden third. Andrew Little fourth. So all chalk there. Actually, James Catrone will line up fifth. Then it's Greg Bourbonier sixth. Kevin Zablutal seventh. Steve Potter eighth. Bill Gartner ninth. And Cody Eldred 10th. Only 3 other cars on the lead lap. Ron Walters, Clinton Woodby, and Harold Rothery. Woodby and Walters were both a lap down. They've both gotten back on the lead lap. Following cars are either a lap down or out of the race. 2 are still running, with, or rather 3 are still running, with David Traylor, Brandon Beauchamp, and Mike Martino. And then Brian Cunningham and Jimmy Fitzmaurice have both called it a night early in stage 1. Stage 2 in the conclusion still to come. Green flag goes in the air, and we're underway again from Darlington. Ryan Patty leads off the start, gets a nice jump. Matt Hayden gets through to second, though. Oh, but he gets the wall. The right rear slides on Matt Hayden, and he gets a big-time Darlington stripe, where he's going to ride all the way back to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th position. Matt Hayden goes backwards. 10th is where you'll find Matt Hayden as he'll finally get the momentum going back in the right direction. A tough break for Matt Hayden. You can't really see the cars on that angle. We'll just keep it on this opening TV camera. Catrone to the inside of Modesty. Modesty fighting back on the outside, trying not to let Catrone just have the spot. But Catrone's going to take it from him. How about that? James Catrone to second. Little underneath Modesty. This will be for third. Can he stick it? No. Modesty wraps the top. Maintains the spot, but had to back out on exit just a little bit. Little to the inside, he'll maintain alongside Rusty Modesty. Will battle 2 wide back to turn 1, and Little will back out. .93 to go at the line from Darlington. Catrone challenges for the lead. Big drive into turn 3, as deep as I've seen anybody drive tonight. It does not work for James Catrone, but gotta be honest, you got to appreciate the ability to, or the willingness to try that. He will not do it again here into turn 1. He'll be willing to ride right behind Ryan Patty for the time being, but he does draft back up again, trying to get a run. Had to back out on exit, and Patty starts to set sail. Ryan Patty, so good on these unique ovals. Remember, again, a winner at Loudon last year. At 49 on the board, battle for third again. This time Modesty and Little, but Little backs out again. Matt Hayden, by the way, back up to the 7th position, so the recovery trail is on for the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet as he tries to put himself back in this race. Kevin Zablutal's up to 6th. Good run for him early on. Top 5 run for Greg Bourbonier as well. Problems for Harold Rothery. He's lost a couple spots towards the tail end of the field. Here comes Catrone. He got right to the back bumper of Ryan Patty. That's as close as he could get with 90 to go. Ryan Patty continues to keep a buffer between himself and the rest of the pack. But boy, oh boy, Catrone is trying on this early run. Andrew Little finally has got by Rusty Modesty. That's for third. I'll tell you this, there's a few cars. That Bourbonier and Zablutal pairing is really quick on lap times as well. It's a really good sign for both of those cars having a really great run. Steve Potter in 9th as well. Cars having really good runs early on here at Darlington. Trying to make good on some early season results. Although Zablutal and Matt Hayden going to battle now, that's for the 6th spot. 88 to go. 86, time 87. If they wanted to make it on one stop, likely that they'll have to get somewhere around about the lap 92 mark. 92 to 93, somewhere in that range. And actually maybe a little bit further than that. Back green around lap 43 with 98 to go. They would have to get to around lap 92. 92, 93, 94. It's about where I expect guys to have to get on this fuel tank and set of tires to be able to make it on one stop. They pit before that. We know that they are going to have to go on more than one stop. I can tell you 70% fuel load in the car. It's a little bit more than these guys are accustomed to, so perhaps an opportunity they can make it on one stop. We'll just have to wait and see. Ryan Patty continues to lead. No battles on the lead lap on the racetrack right now as we speak. We'll wait for one to materialize, and then we'll take you back to it if there is one. Coming up on the schedule, of course, next week, we head to Martinsville Speedway, the paperclip for 200 laps. In what should be a very chaotic week of racing next Tuesday night. Of course, then it's the off week for the Easter holiday. And then we return on April 14th from my home track, the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, for 225 laps. That one should be insane. If you'll remember, last year's Bristol race in the playoffs, actually both Bristol races last year, had their points of craziness. Andrew Little steals it away at the end of the fall. Harold Watkins steals it away in the spring after Travis Everett had what I thought was the winning car. Harold Watkins stole away that victory late. After Bristol, we head to Kansas on April 21st, then a trip to NASCAR's biggest and baddest Talladega Superspeedway on April 28th. May 5th, we go to Texas Motor Speedway, with May 12th going back to the lefts and rights at Watkins Glen. And then it's Dover Motor Speedway over All-Star Week on May 19th, and then Charlotte to round out the regular season on May 26th. Remember back last year, we had some heated moments, shall we say, at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so you want to tune in for that one, as that will set the Chase field. The Chase is 5 races long. Nashville Superspeedway begins proceedings on June 2nd, followed by a trip to the Irish Hills of Michigan on June 9th, Pocono on June 16th, Twin Ring Motegi on June 23rd. And Sonoma, and shades the IndyCar Series, ends the season on June 30th. That's the rundown of Season 1 in 2026. Of course, split into 2 seasons that follow the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Season 1 ends halfway through the schedule in Sonoma. Battle for second. Catrone has gotten the wall a few times over the last 5 laps or so. Andrew Little has felt blood in the water, trying to get to P2. Tell you what, Andrew Little's become kind of a ringer on these flat ovals. Ending a mile and a third or shorter. Andrew Little's been very, very good. He's been good everywhere else, too, don't get me wrong. But these kind of shorter, weird ovals almost, technical, that you have to really drive the race car. Andrew Little's been very good. Of course, won at Martinsville a year ago, won at Bristol a year ago in the fall. Ran well at Darlington, if I recall. Ran well at Loudon as well, if I recall correctly. Something's happened to Kevin Zablutal. He is on pit road. Unscheduled stop for the 17 as he comes down and gets service. Bill Gartner to the inside of Steve Potter. This is for 8th. Gartner will get the spot off turn 4. How about that? Patty continues to lead over Catrone, Little, Modesty, and Matt Hayden, who's back in the top 5 for the first time tonight. Only 11 cars down the lead lap, back to Ron Walters. 78 to go, about 30 or so laps from when I said they would need to get to the pit window. Don't know if they'll make it that far. Patty continuing to lead. James Catrone's falling into the clutches of both Little and Modesty, who's picked up some late run speed. Last time by, though, Patty the fastest car on the racetrack, and no surprises to me that Ryan Patty is starting to cruise just a little bit here, approaching the halfway mark at Darlington. One back at Phoenix in similar fashion, looking to go wire to wire tonight in Darlington for what will be his second win of the season. Should be noted that last week in Las Vegas, Christian Strader got the win in his return to Challenger Cup Series competition. We haven't seen Christian since in the middle to late portions of last year. It's good to see Christian back out on the racetrack. Sorry that I couldn't broadcast that victory for him. Of course, Strader, a multi-time winner last year in the Challenger Cup Series. Ryan Patty is putting it to him now. 1.8 seconds the gap. Let's go back to the battle for second. And it's starting to formulate here. Andrew Little, Rusty Modesty, Matt Hayden all have driven into this. Greg Bourbonier and Cody Eldred are starting to drive into this. +8, by the way, for Bourbonier. +6 for Andrew Little. +8 for Bill Gartner. Impressive runs for all three of those drivers. +4 for Ron Walters, up to the 11th spot in the 99 as well. Three laps short of halfway at Darlington. Ryan Patty continuing to lead the way. There just are not many battles on the racetrack right now. Everybody is pretty spread out. A lot of cars a lap down or out of tonight's race. 3 cars out. 4 still running that are not on the lead lap. Again, David Traylor is 1 lap down. So is Clinton Woodby. Kevin Zabludel has gone 2 laps down for the unscheduled green flag pit stop. And Brandon Beauchamp is 8 laps down but is still on track. Let's actually go take a look back here. Battle for 5th is starting, or rather 6th is starting to heat up. Cody Eldred has caught Greg Bourbonier, trying to find a way around him. Continue to watch this battle as it materializes. Rusty Modesty being caught by Matt Hayden, or was. Matt Hayden starting to lose some ground. I think Matt Hayden may be coming to pit road. Nope. Time and Delta, it looked like he may have been coming to pit road, but he does decide to stay off the racetrack. Side by side, here it is, the battle for 6th. Bourbonier on the outside, Eldred on the inside. Eldred had really good practice speed and qualifying speed. It's just not had the race to remember so far at the halfway mark, but he has gotten by Greg Bourbonier for 6th. Meanwhile, up front, Ryan Patty continues to lead. By the way, Matt Hayden has just gotten by Rusty Modesty. That's for 4th. Halfway at the Darlington Raceway as Ryan Patty laps back by the start-finish line. 23 to 24 laps from now until these guys could make it on 1 pit stop. We're counting down the laps until we see a green flag stop. Again, anything before about lap 94 is going to indicate that they would have to go 2 or more pit stops. It's likely at this point will only be 2. So it's either going to be 1 stop right around the lap 94 mark or 2 stops, 1 coming up here shortly and then 1 towards the end of tonight's race sometime around lap 110. Let's see what these guys opt to go with. Battle on for 2nd. Little on the inside. Catrone on the outside. Little keeps his foot in it. And gets by James Catrone, who did not have the grip on exit right there. So move Andrew Little to P2. And with Catrone driving in deep, decent chance Matt Hayden's going to try to set him up for a pass right here. .73 on the board. 68 laps to go still. Darlington, there's a little ways to go. They're not going to take forever with these guys running 30-second laps, but still is some time to go. You're watching second place Andrew Little as he tries to run away from James Catrone. We're actually going to go back to the battle for third. Kevin Zabludal's had a problem as he has spun to a stop off turn 4 in the 17. He gets it back going, but he's got significant left front damage on that car. Another setback for him after the unscheduled green flag pit stop a moment ago, as he'll go another lap down to the leader. Clinton Woodby has disappeared. Possible technical issue there. It looks like he is disconnected from the session. Now Kevin Zabludal with another problem. Oh my goodness. Where was he? What? Was he on the infield? How does that even happen? By the way, Matt Hayden just took third from James Catrone, but I'm bamboozled. We panned back to Kevin Zabludal, and for a 3/4 of a second, oh my goodness, Matt Hayden gets the wall right there. For 3/4 of a second, Zabludal was on the infield, inside the inside wall. You know, I don't normally go back to replays under the green flag, but I've got to say, I'm curious. Kevin Zabludal coming to a stop off the exit of turn 2. Oh my goodness! What? I don't even know what to say. One more angle. He just drives it straight into the inside wall. Look at this. Straight into the inside wall. And that is how he ended up on the inside part of that retaining wall. I hearken back to Mike Joy and Darrell Waltrip. Have you ever? No, I've never. That's what we have. With 63 laps to go in Darlington, there's things you see at Darlington. Anything can happen at the Lady in Black. And so often throughout oval racing's history here, there have been so many weird events that have happened at this racetrack. But that is towards the top of my list. I've not seen many moments quite like that. Anyways, Matt Hayden got by James Catrone. That was for third. Catrone trying to hold on to fourth from Rusty Modesty as Hayden chases Little for second. 62 to go at the Darlington Raceway as Ryan Patty, by the way, is checked out. 3.7 seconds trouble. Around goes Hayden. The Hendrick car Chevy spins to a slide. I thought he was going to spin to a stop. He does keep it going, but he's going to lose not only third, he'll also lose fourth, fifth, and sixth. He'll go drop all the way to seventh. Another setback for Matt Hayden on a night that just will not go his way. Tell you a guy who's starting to come into form here. Cody Eldred has had some serious speed in the second portion of this race. And has really turned it up here. He might have top 3 speed, if not top 2 speed in this race. I'm not sure anybody's got anything for Ryan Patty, but I think Cody Eldred is pretty close. Ryan Patty, by the way, was 4/10 faster than everyone behind him last time by. He ran a 29.97. One of the only drivers in the 29s on old tires. 30.19 that time for Patty. No one else even in the same stratosphere. Everyone 2/10 or more worse than Ryan Patty. He is driving away. And if this race gets to a pit stop, I have to imagine that would be even more done and over with. 4.3 seconds to gap between Patty and Little. Cody Eldred's got a couple right here off the front nose of this 14, though, that I think he could get. It could very well be another podium effort. For a guy in Cody Eldred that, I'm not going to say needs one, it's not the right word to use, but boy, would that be an interesting shakeup in the points. With Matt Hayden running behind him, Andrew Little running not far in front of him, David Traylor obviously running 11th off the lead lap. Harold Watkins not here. Cody Eldred could be as high as 4th in the points, and if something happens to Andrew Little, he could be 3rd in the points. When we leave to head to Martinsville next Tuesday night. So this is a big 55 laps for Cody Eldred right here. If he can get to the 3rd position and really put himself in a good points position headed to the paperclip in a couple weeks. So keep an eye on him. Greg Bourbonier, by the way, still should be worthy of being shouted out. 6th right now for the Miller Toyota. Really good run for him that will continue what's been a pretty good start to the season for him. 14th in points coming in. He'll gain some with Fitzmaurice, Cunningham having some problems. Gartner having a problem. Bourbonier is going to gain some spots into the points standings tonight. So a big run for him would put him likely inside the top 11 or so in points. Big run coming for him. Steve Potter is 8th. He's liable to gain some points here and put some pressure on guys and create some separation. James Catrone only had 2 starts coming in tonight. If he can run 3rd tonight, though, it's going to put a nice dent in the points gap that he has to make up headed forward if he's wanting to make the chase. Eldred is all but run down Modesty. I'm keeping an eye back there. And I'm not sure what's going on with Ryan Patty here. And in looking at the points and all the pit strategies, I have completely become oblivious. Ryan Patty has nailed the outside wall and has done some form of aerodynamic damage or suspension damage to his number 30. All of a sudden, his lap times have fallen off a cliff. He ran a 34.42 last time by. Let's see what he runs right here. We're going to go back. We're going to try to get a look at what happened. That time he got back to running in the 30s. So let's quickly, and I want to make it very quick, let's go back and look at what happened to Ryan Patty. Apologies for missing it. We were watching the battle between Catrone, Modesty, and Eldred. He's already knocked the wall down at this point. This had to have been several laps ago. Well, there it is right there. Oh, my goodness. Ryan Patty, I got no indication that this happened, by the way. Goes left, goes right, tries to make the save, nudges into the outside wall rear first. He may have done toe link damage to that car as well. He continues to hold serve for right now. Man, again, sorry for missing that, ladies and gentlemen. I got no indication on my timing and scoring that Ryan Patty had an issue, and with where our camera was, I just did not see it. But he nearly spun out and got the outside wall. Now, he's driven away just a little bit from Andrew Little, so it seems to be no harm, no foul. But almost a scary moment there for Ryan Patty that would have turned this race completely on its head. About 5 laps, by the way, from making it on 1 pit stop, so likely now that is the strategy. It's going to be a 1-stop race. Again, Patty continues to lead, stretching it back out again, but a sketchy moment to say the least. Patty maintains the lead for now. Potential hole in the armor, but armor is still unbroken for Ryan Patty. With a beautiful Kellogg's paint scheme aboard this car, by the way. Shades of Texas Terry Labonte. And pit stops at Darlington on lap 92. Andrew Little has undercut the race leader, Patty, on lap 92. He'll be the first to hit pit road. Now, the interesting thing's going to be is trying to stretch this run out. It'll be about 48 laps to the end, or 49 rather. You'll have to push it about as far as the car will go. But the undercut was the strategy. Man, I thought Ryan Patty was spinning. It was just our camera angle right there. Patty will go 1 lap less. He'll pit here on lap 92, coming to 93. Catrone stays out. Modesty stays out. Eldred stays out. Bourbonier, Hayden also stay out. Potter stays out. It's really everybody except Patty and Little stayed on the racetrack for now. And it's the lead to James Catrone. Rusty Modesty's going to pit right here. James Catrone's getting a little bonus point for a lead lap, rather. Big bonus point there for Catrone as he tries to dig out of the points hole that he's in. Cody Eldred stays out. Matt Hayden is on pit road. Ron Walters is on pit road, as is Brandon Beauchamp. Looks like Patty did cycle out in front of Andrew Little. And it'll be not relatively close. Yeah, not really relatively close. Well, actually, it will be a little bit closer than I thought, but regardless. Catrone on pit road this time by Rothery. Trailer Bourbonnier also on pit road. Steve Potter is bringing his 94 to pit road. Cody Eldred's going to get the bonus point for leading a lap. Big bonus point for him. We talked about the importance of this last 55 or so laps for him. And he will bring his car off the banking after getting that one bonus point. He'll come to pit road, try to maintain what has been a really strong outing for him tonight in Darlington, trying to finish the job. Is the Cody Eldred machine. Meanwhile, it's the new battle for the lead. Ryan, Patty, and Andrew Little half a straightaway apart, but with how Patty was running on that last run, it was going to be awfully tough to beat Ryan Patty if Little did not completely undercut him, which he has not. Cody Eldred coming around to his pit box. We'll come in right here, grab some tires. But Patty and Little will both cycle by. Now it'll be interesting to see if Modesty and Catrone cycle by the Eldred machine, or if he's able to come out of pit road in front of those two cars. And he will not. They will both go by him as well as Eldred continues to sit on the pit lane. Matt Hayden goes by. So Eldred's going to need to get on his horse here late in this race. He is still on pit road. Did he incur a penalty, perhaps? He is still sitting on pit road. It's a penalty for Cody Eldred. Oh, man. It's a heartbreaker for the old school's coins. Number 14 of Cody Eldred, as he has incurred some kind of pit road penalty that will log him a lap down and more. Deep now in the top 10. He's actually scored in the 10th position. He'll get passed for that by David Trailer. He'll drop to 11th. Furthest down he can go is 12th, and that's where he will fall to. Man, what a tough break for the Cody Eldred machine. 43 to go in Darlington. A battle for the win is slowly starting to take shape. Ryan Patty is unable to run away from Andrew Little right now. So that suspension damage must not have been too bad for Ryan Patty. He actually did take a fast repair. You see that right front is completely clean. He just opted to take the fast repair. Get the clean car back out on the racetrack. And he is slowly now starting to pull away. Ryan Patty continues to lead. Andrew Little's hanging around. It's just not enough to get back to the back bumper of the 30. He is hanging around, though. Lap 100 now goes on the board. Next time by 40 laps to go. How'd they cycle off pit road? Ryan Patty and Andrew Little, your top two. Then Rusty Modesty has gotten by Catrone. That's for third. Catrone runs in at fourth. Matt Hayden is back up to the fifth spot. Bill Gartner has cycled all the way forward to sixth ahead of Greg Bourbonnier in seventh. Steve Potter eighth. Harold Rothery ninth. David Trailer is 10th. Only 7 cars left on the lead lap. Little is there. A couple of good corners for Andrew Little, and he is right back in the fight. With 40 laps to go. Battle for the win. What did I say? Towards the middle of the race, this place always produces a battle for the win, and we got another one on our hands. At the Lady in Black, Ryan Patty in the 30. Andrew Little in the Waterford Concepts, green and black, 68. Patty, a winner already this season. Little has not won since September of last year at Bristol Motor Speedway. Who gets the job done tonight and conquers the track too tough to tame? These guys are driving the wheels off these things right now. Andrew Little back within 2/10. A slide there from Patty off turn 2. What I thought was going to be a ride into the sunset is anything but. Andrew Little's putting all kinds of pressure on the back of the points leader. Off turn 4, here he comes, right into the back bumper. He's going to have to lunge. When he gets an opportunity, you have to take it if you're Andrew Little. He does not right there. Trying to put some more pressure on Ryan Patty. This has been Patty's better end of the racetrack, although he does not get to his spot, I don't think, right there. And he did get kind of to his spot and held serve, at least with Andrew Little, but Andrew Little's been so much better over here when he moves to the top lane of the racetrack. Here he comes, going to try the rail run. He's going to get a nice drive off turns 3 and 4. Can he get to the back bumper of Patty enough to make a move? Not quite. He's going to have to stay in line for now. Does nudge a headlight out of line. Back to turn 1, 37 to go. Patty, Little for the win in upstate South Carolina. A pair of guys who know how to get it done on these unique oval racetracks. Little, a winner at Bristol. Patty, a winner in Loudon a year ago. And a winner at Phoenix 2 weeks ago. Who will get the better of the other? 36 to go. Everyone's good on fuel. This is the race to the win. No more pit stops involved unless a caution flag comes out. Little has adapted his line a little bit in turns 1 and 2, and that's allowed him to hold serve, if not gain a little bit on Ryan Patty. This will be his best shot if he has a good 3 and 4. Does Patty arrow block him? No. He's going to let Little have the wall, which is where he's been better. He drives straight off the corner, and he is there. Can he make a move? He's going to lunge for it. To the inside. Backs out of it. Not a horrible decision. He'll get in the arrow wash just a little bit here off turn 2. Again, he's adapted that line. He's kind of adopted that diamond where Patty is running up towards the wall. Little has been better on that end of the racetrack, and now he's better over here as well. If he can get this big rail run again, this may be the moment for Andrew Little. This is his best exit yet. Down the front stretch, drag race to the inside. Little for the lead. He's to the inside of the dominant car of the day. Runs him up the hill. Patty has to jump out of the gas. Andrew Little to the lead. Crossover by Patty, back to the inside. Little's going to have the preferred lane, at least his own preferred lane, back to turn 3. Patty drives it in deep on the inside of the racetrack. They're still side by side. Patty washes up. Little has to jump out of the throttle. Contact off turn 4, they trade paint. 33 to go. This time Little on the outside. Patty can drive it in deep. Little does the same. And gets the fence. And Patty back to the lead. Crossover. Little tries to go top to bottom. He will. Unbelievable stuff for the win. Last time he got to this point, he rode Patty up the racetrack and into the fence. He did it again. Patty gets the wall. Little back to the lead. Trying to get off the side draft. Clears him, but he'll have to drive in deep. Patty will cross him over. Oh man, a slide middle of the corner from Little. Patty trying to take advantage back to the back bumper. No challenge out back. 6 seconds back to Rusty Modesty. It is mano a mano for the win in Darlington. Patty back to the inside. Little continuing to hold him off. What differentiated Ryan Patty from the rest of the field in this race was his long run speed. As the run got longer, the 30 got better. Will it happen again, or as Andrew Little cracked the code, he's driven away? 2 car lengths, the gap between the 2 leaders. But Patty has a really good turns 1 and 2, and he's right back in it. I'm Andrew Little. I don't think you change where you drive in. I think you let Patty drive to the bottom. You try to hold the fence. You know that the bottom is not going to work, especially if you can arrow block it all. He changed his line a little bit right there, though, and Patty gets within a car length again. 30 laps to go at Darlington. Still a long way to go. Both of these guys trying to run mistake-free. Big turns 1 and 2 for Andrew Little right there. He pulls away by 3/10. 3.5 car lengths between the 2 leaders. Now as they work back to turn 3. Now he reverts back to what line he's been running. Middle to bottom of the racetrack. Off turn 4, he still has not gotten back up as high as he was a moment ago. He continues, though, to put a little bit of space between himself and Patty. 2.5 car lengths. 29 to go. I mean, this is an all-out test of skill If I'm Ryan Patty, I'd almost save a little bit of tire here. How much tire is Patty saving for the last 20 laps of this race to get back to Andrew Little later on? Little, he's still not reverted to that outside lane. Now he runs about a lane higher than he was. That's where he was so good and so much better on exit than Ryan Patty, but now Patty gets right back up to him, so that time the outside does not really work for Little, as Little burned the tires off of it. Trying to stay off the fence. He's now running Ryan Patty's line over in turns 1 and 2, trying to get him in that arrow wash. It's just not working, and here's the run back to the inside. Patty down to the bottom. Little running that very defensive outside lane, but he's going to get the fence. That might allow Patty to maintain the lead. No. Little drives back to the outside, trying to hold it straight and trying to hold it alongside of Ryan Patty. They're side by side again. This time, Patty deep into turn 1, and he sticks it. Crossover. Little back to the bottom. Can he get back to the left side? He can't. Is that it? Is that all she wrote for Andrew Little? Does he have another look at him? That may be all she wrote. It may have been a little bit of saving from Ryan Patty to maintain the lead. But here comes Little again. He's going to drive back up to the back bumper. 26 laps to go. Andrew Little's got to keep maintaining and doing better in turns 3 and 4. Patty gets the wall. Little also gets the wall. Patty got it worse. Oh, but a little bit of arrow wash for Andrew Little. Oh, man, I thought that was the moment he was going to pass him back again as Patty knocked the fence down in turns 1 and 2. Little again back up to the fence. He's trying to get that rail run off the wall. Patty on the inside. And again, it does not pay off for Ryan Patty. Andrew Little's been so good off the top. He's going to dive to the inside. More aggressive this time. He's trying to get Patty to make a mistake, of which Patty, usually not the mistake-prone guy, has made a few in this race. A couple forced by Andrew Little. Again, he'll go to the rail, trying to get this outside run. He's been so much better on this end of the racetrack than everyone in the field. That time, Patty does his best job at breaking even, although Little does gain another 10th, and here he comes again. 24 to go, and Patty's not out of the woods yet. The benefit for Patty's been down here on turns 1 and 2, but he gets the fence again. Little had to lift out of the gas. He couldn't get around him or he would have turned the 30, trying to drive down the racetrack. Oh, this time Patty arrow blocks. Oh, Patty blocked him, and Little washes straight up into the fence. But Patty, that's not his natural line, and Little slides a little bit off turn 4, but he's there again. These two continue to play a chess match at the front of the field. Oh, but again, arrow wash for Little, and that time it may be all she wrote. Andrew Little, not much tire left, I don't think, on the 68, combined with the arrow effects that he was feeling right there. And Patty starts to cruise away, but what a battle that those two just shared. Oh, but Andrew Little gains a little bit back in turns 3 and 4. This thing's not over yet. Just when I thought it was over, it's not. These two continue to play a high-speed chess game. 22 to go. I think Ryan Patty may have used up some of his equipment. Little coming now in turns 1 and 2. Back to battle we go. Little within a car length and a half. This is as good a stuff as you're going to get all season between these two right now. Two guys laying it all on the line for a victory in Darlington. Another good turns 3 and 4. Here's the run to the inside. Side by side for the leader, were they? Little thought about driving it in deep, chooses to back it up instead. He's trying to force Ryan Patty into another self-inflicted mistake. Holds serve pretty well off turn 2. Maintains. That's all you can ask for if you're Andrew Little. Now, can he get back past him over here in turns 3 and 4? Patty way down. That time the left's on the apron. He may have found something down there. That was his best turns 3 and 4 of the run. 20 laps to go from Darlington. There's still a ways to go. If you're just joining us, you have missed an incredible 15-plus lap battle between two of the best in the business. Ryan Patty's found something. Running down on the apron, he's found a little something over there in turns 3 and 4 to help rotate the car. Now the problem is he sacrifices it on exit. He sacrifices a 10th and a half right there. Little to the inside. Does he dive here in turn 1? No. Gonna stay behind him. He's trying, again, what he's trying to do here is either pack air onto Ryan Patty's spoiler to get him to arrow wash up the racetrack or get him a little bit loose, or he's just trying to stay close enough in behind him that Patty overdrives the corner and makes a mistake. Little runs a little bit lower. That's going to allow him a little bit better rail run, or so I thought. Patty's found something down there. I want to recall from last year at Darlington that Patty did this as well if he was in the field. I want to say he was. That he had found something in that race running down on the apron at turns 3 and 4 as well. That's where he was so successful. Or somebody did. Somebody found something down there last year at this time, and it really benefited him. This time, though, Little, a big drive off turn 4. Oh, this is going to be as close as he's going to get. This might be the opportunity. Coming back to 17 to go. Within a tenth. Does he dive? He's still going to keep it in behind him. Again, trying to pack air. Force Ryan Patty to the fence. The problem is Patty is yet to hit the wall again after the encounter with the wall just about 10 laps to go. He has yet to go back out there and catch a Darlington strike. Again, back into turns 3 and 4. Again, Patty drives to the apron. Little trying to mitigate the damage by running about a lane down from where he has been. He's just not as fast down there, and now he loses some time in that arrow of Ryan Patty. So I think he'll have to go back to the wall if he wants any chance at winning this race. Patty's been better over the course of the mid to late run over here in turns 1 and 2, especially on exit. Little has still been the better car on exit of turn 4, and it's not been particularly close. Let's see if Andrew Little goes back to his line over here in turn 3. He does. He runs back up the racetrack up above that seam, and here he comes. Big drive off. Oh, man, big crossover opportunity right here. Switch back. Little to the inside. 15 to go, and the 68 noses back out in front. Drives it in deep. Will there be contact? Oh, there is. They trade paint in turn 2. Patty got the fence. Little got into Patty, running him up the racetrack. Can't imagine that Ryan Patty appreciated that too much. We'll do the same thing again over here in turns 3 and 4. Little to the apron. Drives it as deep as he possibly can. Patty this time gets the rail run. That's not where he's accustomed to running, though. And Little wraps the bottom and stays alongside him. 14 to go. Little, he backed out that time. Patty beat him to the punch, but almost got the wall. And Little stays alongside. Patty has to jump out of the throttle. Still side by side for the lead. Now Patty clears him back to the front. And Little switch back. Patty went to block the inside thinking that Little was going to try to drive it in deep, and he didn't. And he's almost got the right rear quarter panel. Has to lift out of the gas, just a little bit of aero wash there. Does he drive it back to the inside of turn 1? No, this time he's going to hang in behind. Wait for a better opportunity. Hope that Patty drives it in too deep, which he did just a little bit. But he backed up the center of the corner and is able to drive away by about 2 car lengths, but gets a little bit loose there. This is an unbelievable chess game between two really good short track racers. Oh, Little got the wall. I thought that was going to be all she wrote. It's not. He still is able to drive it off the fence. 12 laps to go at the line in what has been a 35-lap chess game. Oh, Patty ran a little bit wide. Can Little get to him? Not there, but he breaks even, and he is as close as he's been off turn 2 all run. Does he drive to the top? Little tried to drive to the top, but Patty also drove to the top. Again, this is not where Patty's accustomed to running. Patty's accustomed to running that bottom lane. That time, though, he wrapped the top a little bit better than he has been. On the fly, learning from Ryan Patty to run that top lane. Back to turn 1, 11 laps to go. Patty, Little, in the heat of battle. Again, Little this time breaks even more than he did last time by off turn number 3, or off turn number 4, rather. This time, Patty washes him up. Now Patty's running his lane. But again, Little is so good on exit in turn 4 that he's able to drive to the bottom. Side by side for the lead again. Does he drive it in? He drove it in a little bit deep, but not deep enough. He's trying to make Patty make a mistake. Patty has yet to do so when Little throws it to the inside lane. He has made a couple. Oh, another slide there from Ryan Patty off turn 2. Both these cars are out of control. By the way, in the midst of all this, Rusty Modesty, who was 7 seconds back a moment ago, has driven all the way to 3rd and is only 2.5 seconds back. I'll tell you, I think these guys took 2 tires. I think that's why you saw the gaps were so big. I wondered why it was 9 seconds back to Rusty Modesty, who was right in the heat of it. I'm almost convinced that Patty and Little are both either on none or 2 right side tires, and Modesty's on 4. And those guys are closing in, Modesty and Catrone. I don't know if they have the time, unless these two crash each other. But Modesty's getting close. He's within 2.5 seconds. He's watching this all go down, 8 laps to go. Single digits in what has been one of the greatest battles to end a race that I can remember in a Challenger Cup Series event the last year and a half. This harkens me back to Hayden and Watkins at Homestead, to Darlington last year, to Bristol last year with Andrew Little. I mean, this has been unbelievable stuff, and it has been literally for almost 40 laps non-stop. Back to turn 1. 7 laps to go. If Ryan Patty wins, at first it would have been dominance. It would have been really impressive. Oh, he gets the fence! Again, he gets the wall. This car's not driving good for Ryan Patty right now. What would have been a dominant win now, I mean, he has had to earn it. Little drove it in deep to turn 3. I'm not sure what the goal was there. He's not going to get the runoff that he's been getting. He still does get a nice drive off the corner. He's been so good on exit over there in turn 4. He can run wherever he wants to, and that car wraps that corner like really nobody else in the field's been able to. Patty's tires are destroyed. It's as vulnerable as he has looked all day. Modesty within 2.3 is not close enough. They're not going to get there. But these two continue to throw absolute boxing-level haymakers at one another, hoping that eventually one of them lands. Lands the knockout blow, I should say. 5 out the flag stand from Barney the Flagman in what has been a classic at the Lady in Black. Patty by a car length over Andrew Little. This is the battle for the win. Patty to the inside to try to block off the dive into turn 3. Little, best drive he's gotten all day. Patty's going to give it to him, or is he? Little has to lift. He's going to get there. Now to the outside. Patty forced to the bottom. He's been really good at driving it in deep here down into turn 1 and clearing back up. He'll do so. Little gets the fence, and Patty punked him. Oh, Ryan Patty punked him just a little bit again. These two continue to trade a little paint. Rubbin continues to be racing. Again, Little in the fence. It has not inhibited him yet. And now a good drive off. Almost gets in the back of Ryan Patty there. Can he get to the inside? Yes. Battle for the lead. Patty holds him off. Is that all she wrote? Or does Little have one more haymaker left in him? It's like a fight that's gone to the 12th round. It's time to throw everything you got in the gas tank. Really good turns 3 and 4 there from Ryan Patty, but Little will get that drive off turn 4. He'll have one more look. Popsicle sticks out the flag stand. 2 laps to go. Next time by, the white flag will be displayed. Does Andrew Little have one more moment to get to Ryan Patty? A really good turns 1 and 2. Does he have it in him? Back to turns 3 and 4. Patty doesn't aero block. Little gets the line that he wants. Patty drives it hard on entrance. But can Andrew Little get back to the throttle? White flag is up. 1 lap to go at Darlington. To turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Little gets the fence. Patty gets the fence. They're both in the wall. To turn 3 for the final time. The haymaker. Can he do anything? Trying to stick the throttle. Off turn 4 for the final time. Can he drag race him back to the line? He cannot. Ryan Patty survives and wins an all-time thriller in Darlington. And we can all take a breath. What a race. Ryan Patty will come off turn 4 for the second time this year. He will burn it down here on the front stretch. This one is well earned. The driver of the 30 for Fast House Racing, Ryan Patty. In a finish that may not be replicated this entire year. You may not see a better finish than that. In the shades of Kevin Harvick and Alan Kulwicki and several others over the years, a Polish victory lap, again, that is well earned. As Ryan Patty wins at Darlington, I would desperately hope that he's got a burnout plan for us, because, I mean, you saw him waving the wheel at the line. You would hope after a race like that he's got a smoke show for the fans here at Virtual Darlington Raceway after putting on that kind of performance. So we will wait until he comes back around. Obviously, do want to give him an opportunity to celebrate, but again, we may go the rest of 2026, and I'm not saying that we will, but we may go the rest of 2026 and not see another battle for the win quite like that. I'll hearken to the MMA community a little bit. If you watch the UFC, that's like, if you've ever seen the viral clip of Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje just throwing haymakers at each other for about 15 seconds at the end of their infamous fight for the BMF belt back several years ago, that's what tonight was. It was a war for the last, again, almost 50 laps of the race. It was over a quarter of the race distance that these two played a high-speed game of chess with one another. And when the checkered flag flew, Ryan Patty, in a way that maybe he did not think he had to about the halfway mark of this race, where it looked like he was going to cruise and drive right into victory lane in an easy form. This was really the first time that Ryan Patty's been this dominant and been this vulnerable at the same time. And I think he's going to give us a smoke show. Ryan Patty wins at Darlington. He's going to do the Kyle Larson burnout. So Cody Eldred wins at the Darlington Raceway. He'll come park it on the start-finish line. While he does so, and those top three, get ready for some post-race interviews. You'll want to stick around for those, by the way, after that battle for the win. Let's tell you how they finished tonight in Darlington. Of course, it was Ryan Patty coming away with the victory in a classic over Andrew Little. Rusty Modesty almost actually got back to them in the third position. James Catrone, a big finish for him in fourth. A good recovery from Matt Hayden up to the fifth spot. Greg Bourbonier completes what was a really good run for him in sixth. David Traylor, how about the recovery for him? Crashed early in tonight's race on lap 1, went multiple laps down, came back to finish seventh. Cody Eldred finishes tonight in eighth. Steve Potter in ninth. Ron Walters gets to top 10. Bill Gartner finishes 11th. Harold Rothery in the 12th spot. Mike Martino the third in 13th. Brandon Beauchamp 14th. And Kevin Zabludel in 15th. Clinton Woodby in 16th. Brian Cunningham 17th. And Jimmy Fitzmaurice, the last car on the grid, in the 18th spot. Well, who better to start with than the man in Challenger Cup Series victory lane? I know I usually go third, second, first, but tonight I feel like it's only fitting that we interview these two guys first. And let's start with the man who went to victory lane for the second time this season. Of course, won at Phoenix in dominant fashion, and it looked like tonight was going to go similarly. Led the opening 100 or so laps of this race, but faced a strong test from Andrew Little at the end of this race. We'll talk to him about that. How it feels to get this victory, as well as looking forward into the season as he's now the first two-time winner in 2026. It's Ryan Patty in Challenger Cup Series victory lane. Ryan, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, I hope you've had a second to catch your breath, because the last 40 laps of this race were about as good as it gets. Look, early in this race, looked like you were somewhat cruising again. Back at Phoenix a couple of weeks ago, you win in pretty convincing fashion. It's what we had gotten used to with you on these unique ovals. Last year at Loudon comes to mind. But tonight, on the pit strategy, just take us through this last 40 laps. I mean, this was unbelievable racing. Both cars completely out of control. You guys were both getting Darlington stripes, trading paint with each other. Take me through the incredible battle for the win with you and Andrew Little.
Yeah, it's razor edge in this track. Obviously, with so much tire wear, you got to really take care of the car, right? I mean, everyone will say, race the track, not the other drivers. So that's what I was trying to do most of the first half of the race. Just run my pace, tried everything just to be clean. And thankfully, the first run, first stage and start of the second stage, I didn't get a lot of pressure from behind. I don't know if they were racing each other or what. Just didn't really have to push too hard. So I got a pretty good lead there up until that first green flag stop, and you probably caught it. I almost lost the car off of 4. Just pushing a little too hard, and I was running a ton of rear brake bias, which made the car pretty twitchy loose on exit. So that obviously brought some of these guys back to me for the pit stops, and with Andrew Little right on me coming out of the pits, I was just trying to maintain an even pace, and with him pushing to try to get up and get the lead, it forced me to drive a little faster and a little bit more aggressive than I wanted to, and I think that just led to me losing my long run pace that I would have had if I had taken it easy most of the run. So props to him for laying the pressure to me and forcing my hand to drive a little harder than I wanted to, and I think that made our cars a little bit more even because of it. And he was just lightning fast coming out of 4, which was giving me a headache every time we'd go into turn 1. I thought he was just going to slide job it in there and take the lead away, and I think he did once or twice.
You guys trade the lead for 40 laps, but in the end you come away with a victory. And, look, for several times in your early Challenger Cup Series career, you've come away with these victories, and they've been in pretty convincing fashion. The fastest car on the racetrack, lead a bunch of laps. I want to talk about, how important was it to have a race like this, where you face a challenge where, maybe you face a little bit of adversity, you have to fight back at the end of this race. How important was it, in a season-long format especially, to face a race like this early in the season, to be battle-tested headed forward from here?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a big confidence booster to be able to come out on top. I mean, hell, I would have gone to bed happy tonight having finished second after that battle. I was, I had a smile on my face the whole time, just having fun. Andrew raced, like, super clean, so it was fun to be able to go in the turn side by side, not worry about somebody running in and putting you in the wall. So, really, really happy with the way things turned out. Obviously glad to get the win here, but yeah, man, I love racing in this league, and it'll be fun to relive this one a couple of times over.
Well, a fun one tonight at Darlington, but now we start to look forward. Some unpredictable tracks coming up. Martinsville next week, of course, Bristol in a few weeks, Talladega still on the horizon. So, now you're a two-time winner, the first two-time winner of this season here in race number 6. You've got a pretty decent points lead leaving Darlington as well. Kind of take me through the prep work for some of these chaotic tracks coming up. We know how much of a wild card that Bristol can be, that Talladega can be, and obviously Martinsville needs no intro next week. What's the game plan for you to maintain that points lead through this tough part of the schedule?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's good to get the points where I can. Tracks like this, Darlington's probably one of, if not my best track, and I'm glad to be able to get the win and get the points while I can, because as well as I do, Martinsville, Bristol, and Talladega, 3 tracks where you can have 3 DNFs. So, I'm looking forward to Bristol. Really enjoy that track. It's fun to get into a rhythm, so long as I can figure out, how to run my brakes and everything. Hopefully, have a good day there. But Martinsville, yeah. God help us all, because that could be really, really treacherous. And Talladega, without friends, you're going nowhere. So we'll see. All 3 of those have really, really different personalities. So just go in with an open mind and hopefully come out on top.
Well, it's another victory for you tonight in Darlington, your second of the season and the sixth of your career so far in the Challenger Cup Series. Before we let you go and celebrate and also catch your breath, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I mean, huge shout out, obviously, to Andrew Little and everyone else on track tonight for keeping it clean and green. I don't think we had any cautions for incidents, so that was really cool to see. And, you for putting on a pretty good broadcast here. It's fun to go back and watch and adds a lot of credibility to the league. And, finally, if my wife's still watching, I don't know if she might be sleeping by now, but I love you, babe, and thanks for all the support.
Well, Ryan, congrats on the win tonight. Thanks for talking to us. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will see you next week in Martinsville.
Thanks, Dawson.
Ryan Patty, the 30, the winner tonight from Darlington Raceway, and he will continue his victory celebration down the front stretch as he traditionally does. Let's move to the man who finished in second on the losing end of a battle tonight. I cannot imagine that we're going to hear much negativity from Andrew Little, and there's a lot to be happy about. I know you never want to be the guy that finishes second, but to be the guy that finishes second in a battle like this, to get the points, are going to be so important to Andrew Little. By the way, he's likely to leave Darlington as the second in points, headed forward on from here, if not third in points to Ryan Patty and Matt Hayden. So a really good start to the season for Andrew Little, I think, is going to be the takeaway. Whereas last year, in a win-and-you're-in format, this may have been more disappointing. Tonight, I think it would be more of a big-time moment in his early season. Andrew Little finishes second at Darlington. Andrew, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you, bud. How you doing?
Well, look, not too bad, especially not after what we just watched. I know you never want to be on the losing end of a battle at the end of a race, but take me through the last 40 laps. Obviously, the pit stop, you undercut by one lap, you gain enough ground to then be able to put some pressure on Ryan Patty, and then the rest. I mean, we saw it unfold for the last 40 laps. An incredible battle for the win. Take me through your perspective of it. Was there anything you could have done differently than the different moves we saw you trying to make there towards the end of that race?
Well, I could have wrecked him, but that's just not how I would. I want to do these things, but no, it was a really good battle back and forth. I kind of thought it was, for a second there, I kind of thought Ryan was bored and he was coming back to just play with us. And then when I started watching him just keep getting a really bad exit off of 4 and kind of kept getting loose and he kept smacking the wall, I'm like, oh, holy crap. Like, I think I've got a shot here. And I gave it my best, but it wasn't gonna be a checkers or wreckers situation. I'll take the points, and the battle was a heck of a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
As did we up here in the broadcast booth. And look, I talked about that on the segue into getting to talk to you here, that I felt like last year in a win-and-you're-in format, especially in the playoffs, that this would have been a little bit more disappointing. Obviously tonight in a season-long format, a lot of positives to take on from Darlington. A consistent start to the year is so important in a chase format, and now leaving Darlington, likely that you'll be third in the point standings, headed on to Martinsville next week. What's gone into that consistency, and how important is it to have nights like this where you may come up a little bit short, but you get a ton of points haul. In a season-long format, how important is it to have consistent nights like tonight?
Well, I'm actually generally a pretty consistent guy, so in the past chase format issues and all this different kind of stuff, I've even our like win and you're in type stuff, I've always pointed my way in. It's very rare that I get a win. I'm more of a long run consistent driver, so I've actually been just generally working on trying to get up there and battle for wins. So I mean, I've got to get one. I think this was it my second or third or fourth number second place finish this year, so it's close, it's coming. I just got to get over that hump and get there. Hopefully I'm not going to be like Sheldon Creed and Ryan up like 14 second place finishes before I get that win.
Well, the schedule lines up pretty favorably for you here going forward. A pair of tracks that you won at last year in 2025. Martinsville coming up next week, obviously an off week. Then we head to Bristol. You won once at each place last year. Does that give you some more confidence that maybe that win is coming in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah. I mean, the funny part was I just said about the raw speed, but like Bristol, my shot is because I'm usually good on the long tire run. So if we get a long green flag run, I'm kind of hard to beat there, or it's one of my better tracks. Martinville is going to be a crapshoot. It's going to be get out front, stay out front, and hopefully just be clean. and keep that track position the entire time, because it could be a lot of yellows, and just hopefully we'll get lined up and we'll get rolling, and we can actually get through Martinsville pretty quick, and then hopefully I'll get some track position and hold it.
Well, tonight, obviously on the wrong end of the winning battle, but a second place finish and a ton of points for you. We're going to have you top 3 in the standings headed to Martinsville next week. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
No, you've been doing a great job. Everybody's been really happy with the broadcast, so that's pretty cool. J-Dub's doing a really good job on the race control side of things. Hi to my family upstairs sleeping. Hopefully I'm not too loud. And, everybody hang out and go check out Waterford Concepts for any of your CAD design, 3D printing needs, and all that kind of fun stuff. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram, and if you're interested in joining, come have fun with us on Tuesday nights. We're always looking for more people.
Well, second place finish for you tonight in Darlington, a great points haul as we head into 2 tracks that you are very familiar with from last year. Andrew, thanks for talking to me for a second. Congrats on the second place run tonight. We will see you next week in Martinsville.
Thanks, bud. Going for the W next week. Have a good one.
Going for the W next week is Andrew Little. Again, a pair of tracks that he won at a year ago. Once at Martinsville in the spring, once at Bristol in the fall. Andrew Little looking to put a win sticker on the side of his race car as we move forward in this season. We'll now finish up the podium with the man who finished third and, again, was probably one wrong move by the top 2 away from going to victory lane tonight. The 6 of Rusty Modesty had I'm not going to call it a quiet night. We called his name quite a bit tonight in the Sinclair Toyota, but quiet in the fact that, he may not have contended for a win, but he is going to gain a ton of points as well tonight. Came into the night in 8th in the point standings, likely that he will leave at least 7th, if not 6th, maybe even higher than that. He may be knocking on the door of the top 5 in points, headed out of Darlington. A big night for Rusty Modesty, though it may not have been flashy. That's what the doctor ordered. It's car number 6, third tonight in Darlington. Rusty, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Hey, Dawson.
Well, look, a fun one tonight at Darlington. Obviously, after the early hiccup, no incident cautions the rest of the way tonight in Darlington. A third-place finish for you. I want to ask first, we saw this pit strategy unfold. You come off pit road nearly 7 seconds back of the leaders. You drive up to about 2.3 seconds. Was there a different call there on the strategy that you noticed on your end that maybe contributed to that bit of a gap that you weren't able to get back to the leaders?
No, I think it was just my poor driving. I tried. There at the end, I think I just lost concentration, lost focus. You had to be perfect to catch those guys, and I was taking them away. I kept watching the delta and watching it drop, but just lost focus there in the last 5 to 6 laps, and I don't know. It would have been tight anyway. Who knows if a move could have been made, even if I did catch them. So.
Well, look, a pretty rough start to the season, all things considered. You'd yet to register a top 5 in 5 starts. Now you have one. Not only that, a podium finish and a good points haul. How important was it to have a night like tonight to kind of get your season on track here in race 6?
Yeah, I think it's big. I don't feel like I've been placing where I should. Bad luck is one thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's kind of where I feel we should be finishing. So. Happy to be there again. On to some more technical tracks, which I like. So hopefully that frees us up. We'll see how Martinsville is next week. But yeah, I don't know. It feels good. Feels good just to not be wrecked in the pits.
Look, obviously some wild cards coming up. You mentioned Martinsville. Obviously Bristol is on the horizon, but then we get back to some of these cookie-cutter mile-and-a-halfs where we've seen you be so good. Kansas, Texas, a couple of others on the schedule left, Charlotte as well. Places that I expect that you will contend for wins. How important is this stretch pushing to the chase? How important is it to get good finishes at tracks like Martinsville and Talladega going forward? And it's kind of a two-parter. How important is it to get good finishes there, and what is the prep like for a wild card track like that in a format where points are so important?
Yeah, I think something like Martinsville, you're going to get a lot of incidents, but no one's really going to get knocked out of the race. None of the contact, at least here recently, the speeds are so low. Even when you do make contact with someone, the car's still okay and still manageable. So something like that's just make sure you're not the last person to wreck before the race ends, and then hopefully you'll do fine. Something like the Talladega or Bristol. Listen, one mistake and your car could be chunked. So I think they're a little bit different. I think more patience it should be involved in some of the super speedway stuff, and maybe a little bit more luck when it comes to iRacing on Martinsville. Just trying not to be the poor guy holding the stick at the end, getting dumped. So as far as prep, man, it's the hour and a half before these sessions start. So maybe hopefully jump into some officials and things like that during the week. But if time allows, if not, it's buckle up, Buttercup, and just go out there and give it your best.
Well, it worked nearly to perfection tonight. A third place finish, again, a big points haul for you and your first top 5 of the season in Darlington. So before we let you go and start to prep for Martinsville next week, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Ryan for a good win tonight. Definitely class act, and I think he was toying with us. I think he's playing cat and mouse, but we'll see. And Andrew on a great finish. Thanks to everyone that comes out of this league, and Dawson for you broadcasting, and all the admins that kind of keep this going every day. Even Jimmy, poor Jimmy, he hates this place, and he didn't have some good luck to get going, and I think he decided chicken wings were a better option than doing this, because this was not easy tonight. I don't know if it showed on the broadcast, but it was dicey. It was white knuckle the whole time, hard to pass. I mean, just hard to get around the place in general. So shout out to him for at least giving us a couple big ones tonight, and shout out to his wife, Lindsay Fitzmaurice.
Well, chicken wings for Jimmy Fitzmaurice, but a third place finish for you tonight in Darlington. Rusty, thanks for the time. Congrats on the effort tonight. We'll see you next week in Martinsville.
Thanks, Dawson.
Rusty Modesty, third tonight in Darlington. Of course, talking about Jimmy Fitzmaurice there. Fitzmaurice again retired early tonight's race, but hey, sounds like he had a pretty good night to go along with it as well. That's going to start to wrap things up from the Darlington Raceway, as round 6 of the Challenger Cup Series is now complete. And I don't even honestly know how to close this show. I feel like what we saw the last 40 laps pretty much sums up the race. I don't need to add much to it. The last 40 laps tonight, just a haymaker fest, a boxing match basically between two of the best in the business on these kinds of tracks. And in the end, it's Ryan Patty that comes away with win number 2, again in an all-time classic, one that I'm going to go back and rewatch for a long time. It was really fun to call, to watch as a race fan. Hope it was enjoyable for you as well. Obviously, the drivers sounded like they enjoyed it also in what was an incredible 140 laps tonight from Darlington. Let's look forward to this week, and then let's look forward to where Challenger Cup Series goes next week. Let's start there. The next Challenger Cup Series event a week from tonight on Tuesday night from the Martinsville Speedway, the Paperclip, 200 laps at the Paperclip up in Virginia, coming to you live on PGR eSports next week. Of course, then 2 weeks from tonight, it's the off week for Easter. Keep that in mind, April 7th, no Challenger Cup Series race with the Easter holiday. Let's look forward to the rest of the week for you. What's on tap here on PGR eSports and in my world of broadcasting as well. Let's start with myself. Tomorrow night, getting a really, really cool opportunity to get to be the lead play-by-play announcer for the Moonshiners Racing League and its GMD Janitorial Cup Series as we make our own trip to Darlington Raceway. Cannot wait to be the lead voice on that one. I'll be joined with Zach Case, his debut as the color commentator tomorrow night. That one will be over on Precision Entertainment. Come join us. That's going to be a lot of fun from Darlington. Thursday night, it's the PGR eSports Intimidator Super Speedway Series March Madness Championship race. It's finally come to light here at the end of the month as we bring you action for the Gen 7 Next Gen race cars at Talladega Super Speedway. With it being the championship race, there'll be a custom setup on the car on Thursday night. You will not want to miss that one. The racing, when that setup gets brought out, is unreal. You will not want to miss the thing. That one will be on PGR eSports at 10:30 on Thursday night. Friday night, the Dega Pro Stars and Stripes Shootout Series with Michael Triscaro, and then the Midnight Racing League. The Midnight Racing League and its Contender Series on Friday night as well. McCullough Motorsports has action throughout the week with Jim Bob. And then, of course, we are back to Challenger Cup Series action next Tuesday from the Martinsville Speedway. Be ready to keep an eye out as well on Monday nights as the Light Series, the PGR VRX Light Series returns here in just a few weeks, actually on April the 6th. looking forward to being in the race car for those races. Those will also be on PGR eSports with Austin Green on the call. Looking forward to that. Also on Tuesday nights with the Grindstone Developments Truck Series. They have a new series coming up on Tuesdays. That'll also be Austin Green on the call. And tonight, the Venom Truck Series got underway. That's Michael Triscaro on the microphone for those races. Go check those out on PGR eSports main page as well. It's going to just about do it here from the Darlington Raceway. What a race it was tonight in Round 6 of the Challenger Cup Series. If you liked what you saw tonight and you want to get involved, check out the Challenger Cup Series Discord in the description of this video. Come join us and come have some fun racing on a Tuesday night. It's a great group of admins. It's an incredible group of drivers, a great group of people to be around and talk to and chop it up after the race. A really great group. Again, grateful to them for having me into this second year of my tenure here with the Challenger Cup Series, and it continues just to blow my mind how good this racing can be on Tuesday nights. Hope you enjoyed what you watched tonight. If you did, like and subscribe to PGR eSports today. Continue to grow this community that we have huge plans for here in 2026 and beyond. We look forward to your presence here, looking forward to what's in store in the future. Next week, it's Martinsville time on the schedule. We head to the paper clip for the first time in 2026. We hope to have you with us next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. right back here on PGR eSports. It's time to say goodbye tonight, though, from Darlington Raceway. Congratulations to Ryan Patty on an incredible, hard-earned win at the Lady in Black as he conquers the track Too Tough to Tame. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching PGR eSports coverage of the Challenger Cup Series. We'll see you next week from Martinsville. Until then, have a good